welcome everyone. And this is a really special event for me. It's a very personal program I've been running. It's the second one, the Indica Veda Studies teacher training program. And this is the second group of teachers. So we have 40 teachers graduating today, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have all of you. Before I hand over to, it is going to be mostly student-led here today. Before I hand over to Silva, who will lead with invocation mantras, I just want to go back and honor my ancestral tradition of chanting. It's been in my family a long time. My grandmother, probably her mother, we don't know, but my mother, we are all chanting teachers. And it's really because of her that I got into this in the first place. I used to be a reluctant participant when I was a small child, but I got back into it after education and after I sort of grew out of, well, in my 40s really, is when I went back to my ancestral tradition. And I couldn't be more thrilled to really feel at home doing this and to also continue to share this with others who want to teach. And so this is my mother, and all thanks to her that I'm doing this. And of course, the whole team of teachers that support me and nourish me to be able to do these programs in the way I do. And my mother's guru as well. We have so much support and we've learned so much from her. And I want to take a moment to honor everyone's teachers here. All of your gurus and all of your teachers really bring us together to this point for us to be continuing various traditions. And I know this week has been really difficult for the Ashtanga community. And I just want to share that we mourn with you the loss of your beloved teacher. And welcome to this graduation event. So last year we had almost 30, I think we had about 30 teachers graduate. And this year we have 40 teachers graduating. And I'm so indebted to my guru, my teacher, who has patiently mentored me for so many years now. First with group classes, but then about 8 years ago, he started to mentor me one-to-one. And it's my life's miracle. I'm one of his only one-to-one students. And I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but for me, it's a great obligation and duty to therefore share in the most undiluted way his teachings to as many people as I can. And this is the only way I can repay this debt. And what is even more thrilling for me is that he blessed this program. Because of course, when Hari Kiranji in Indica first asked me to run this program, we all laughed when we said there's no such thing in the tradition. What is a teacher training? It doesn't exist. And even my teacher, we all laughed. But Hari Kiranji is very, 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 when he has an agenda, when he has his vision, he's very, very persistent. And so we had meetings every week for 2 years before I went back to my guru. And I presented to him why we should do this program. And he completely blessed this program. And I wasn't sure, I couldn't, believe my ears when he said, yes, I blessed this program. So I asked him for the very first time if he would give that to me in writing, because I couldn't believe he would, endorse a teacher program. And so he wrote me a note on his letterhead in Kannada. And the translation is on the right, which is that he blesses this program and that he sincerely believes that it's bringing value to all those practitioners in the Indic knowledge-based, systems-based practices. So mainly, we offer this program to those who are in yoga, Ayurveda, Jyotisha, any of these Indic knowledge systems-based practices. And we hope it will add value and that more people will reach this type of teaching. And so this quick overview of the group, we have 40 teachers from 15 different countries. They're from all kinds of backgrounds, languages, countries, Ayurveda therapists. Some of them are already chanting teachers, a couple from the education sector, a musician. We have a couple of more than one. We have 3 or 4 Sanskrit teachers with us. There's also an actress from Mexico. We have authors. We have folks that own retreat centers. And so all the way from Jude's in Australia, who somehow figured out with all these time differences to work with us, to a small group in Belgium, to Canada, to folks to Silva, who's actually from Croatia, but living in Sweden. And so we have all these permutation combinations of people from various countries, from somewhere, living somewhere across Europe, many from India, and many Indians also living outside of India, Sweden, Switzerland, etc., and Italy. And yes, and Ileana is our famous actress from, from Mexico. And also we have 2 folks from Philippines. And I wanted to say that this year we have 2 people also from Hungary. And we always have a big representation from the US. I have a big, almost 50% of my students are from the US. And this is really all thanks to Eddie Stern. This is the only reason I have US students, because he's sending me all his students and friends. And so we've been working really hard. It's been 108 hours teaching time, but we've spent more hours after that on doing what we've called an exam, which is being able to recite a large amount of text without hesitation, without error, confidently and clearly. And so this is something we've been working on this entire year. And we've had long classes. We've spent our time together. We've spent a lot of time together, 2-hour classes, trying to keep focus, because it's one of the things for a chanting teacher is sustain attention. And so we've sort of practiced that by doing extremely long classes and staying alert through them, trying to. We had Dr. Svoboda and Dr. Anuradha Chowdhury stop by and share their wisdom in 2 guest lectures. And we've covered a lot of ground. Of course, we learned the chants. We practiced the chants. We perfected it. We tried memorizing as much as possible, but we also did a lot of theory in Indic knowledge-based systems. And Shiksha, Pratishakhya, these are all our rule books for Vedic chanting. And we spent quite a lot of time in how to honor the tradition, festivals, pujas, things like that. But our main focus has been on how do you give feedback, and how do you train, and how do you mentor students, and how do you catch errors, how do you eliminate errors, because Vedic chanting really rests on a error correcting principle. And so how to do that, the pedagogy around it. And this has been really wonderful to do, because I come from the Chalakere brothers. It's not just a tradition of Vedic chanting, but they are a teaching tradition. So the pedagogical skills around how to do the teaching is something very unique to them, which we are very grateful to receive and pass on. And so our focus has been teaching chants, not learning them, but how to teach them, the theory context around it, perfecting chants, the whole krama, the sequence in which memorization takes place, and honoring tradition. So I'm going to now hand over to Silva to lead us with invocation mantras, after which Prem will do a little welcome note to all our guests, etc. But I'm going to first hand over to Silva.
ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् महागणपतये नमः प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजता गन्तु यज्ञम् हवन् देवी जुजुषाना घृताची शग्मान्नो वाचमुषति शृणोतु वाग्देव्यै नमः चरणं पवित्रं विततं पुराणं येन पूतस्तरति दुष्कृतानि तेन पवित्रेण शुद्धेन पूताः अतिपाप्मानमरातिन्तरेम श्रीसद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Prem, over to you.
Thank you, Shantala. I would like to just express some of my personal feelings about this wonderful journey that we undertook all together. In a way, it's really hard to express in words the feelings that I think each one of us holds in our hearts for this an incredible union of the souls and the people who actually followed with their hearts this beautiful transformational journey, facilitated, of course, by an incredible teacher, Shantala. So I would say that Shantala was like a sculptor, and she was able to see in each one of us like the embodiment of the parts of the Vedic chanting that we were able to, that we eventually became. And she shared her knowledge and her love and her kindness so lovingly in the name of her teachers, Chalakiri brothers, and being so gracefully, I would say, impersonally personal. And she was an incredible master, I would say, Swara police. And due to her insistence that we learn the proper pronunciation of these Vedic mantras and to sustain them and all of that, it's only because of that insistence that we managed to master what you're going to be able to hear in this next hour. So I would just say that Shantala has connected us to the sacred teachings of the Vedas in a most direct way, even though there was some, of course, theory to explain where the Vedas come from, how they're divided, and all of that. But I think the only way to really experience anything is to participate, and we were very grateful for it. Now, I also want to say that I'm personally very honored to have shared this profound experience with this great group of extraordinary people. We could go from one person to another and just tell you how wonderful these people were, and we all got united in a one common vision and love of Shantala. So this is my 1 minute or so. I know that I took this time to just say a few things about my personal feelings before I introduce our very special guest today. So our guest here, my very special friend from a long time ago, Eddie Stern. We took the teacher training course together. I remember I had a little bit longer hair. Eddie Stern had longer hair. Believe it or not, we both looked very, very wonderful young people. And even at that time, Eddie Stern was just like extraordinary. I remember you have a certain charisma and certain like presence in your yoga teaching from the very first class that we did. In fact, we were in the same teaching group, I think, practicing. So I'm very happy to introduce you, and I'm just going to mention a few other important guests today, and then we can give it over to Eddie Stern to welcome all of us and to share some of his words of wisdom. We also have Swamini Shraddhananda Saraswati, who is the founder and the primary spiritual teacher at the Kula Kamala Foundation. We will also have as guest today from Indica, Harikiran Vadlamani and Dr. Vinaya Chandra. And I would also like to welcome all the Vedas teacher training graduates, which I hope we're all here, and the friends and the family. I got a few of mine here also hiding someplace. And also the teacher training alumni cohort and the Veda studies community. Now, just a couple of words I want to share about Eddie. Eddie Stern is a name so well known in New York City, so you cannot mention the word yoga without mentioning his name. And we also have a common friends of Dr. Robert Svoboda. And you know, what Eddie has done for New York City is unbelievable. He managed to keep one pure approach to yoga and very creative approach to yoga. And basically, he's obviously a great yoga teacher. He's also an author. He's written a couple of books and he's a researcher. And he is equally important, the founder of the Broome Street Ganesha Temple and Broome Street Yoga. So that if you're in New York City or if you ever come to New York City, please don't miss the chance to go and visit this wonderful place. So you can come for, you know, to sit in silence and meditation outside of the yoga classes, or you can come and take some extraordinary classes. So Eddie Stern has a biography of a great, you know, Hollywood kind of a famous person. So I won't go too far with it because we have a limited time. So Eddie, I'm very honored that you're with us tonight. And today, sorry, for some of you it's tonight. And I would like to also basically just mention always to you how much Shantala admires your work. And it's always when it comes to breathing, to some kind of a thing that we have to learn in the Vedic chanting, she says, Eddie Stern. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Prem. Your words are too kind and too effusive, but thank you very much. And Shantala, of course, thank you so much for having me, and congratulations to all of the new Veda chanting students. This is no easy feat, what you have done. It's a tremendous amount of work. Shantala asked me to say one or two words about Sharatji, our Sharat Joyce, who passed away this past Monday in Virginia. He, of course, was a tremendously important figure in the world of Ashtanga Yoga, an extremely kind-hearted, generous, giving person who was a dear friend of mine over, in fact, my Guru Bhai, over the past 32 years. He died way too soon, way too quickly, leaving a huge hole that many of the community are struggling with right now, especially his wife and his daughter and his son, who are going through unimaginable grief. So we send them our love and our prayers. We give thanks to him for the sacrifices he made over the decades to teach yoga. And in the early 1990s, when Sharat and I were practicing yoga together under his grandfather's eye, we also learned Veda chanting together, and we learned chanting of Isha Upanishad from his grandfather, and then later we studied the chanting of Rudram together, and actually some suktas as well at the Ramakrishna Institute for Spiritual and Moral Education in Mysore. So he also had a great love for Veda chanting. It was very important to his grandfather and to his family, so he would be delighted if he could see you all today here graduating. And I saw the video that Shantala sent. The chanting is amazing. You guys are just like mind-blowingly good. And Shantala has done such a tremendously awesome job of guiding you all in the perfection of your pronunciation, and most importantly, the bhavana that you bring to your chanting is so moving. So I would just like to read, or not even read, but just convey to you one thing. And for all of you who've learned Taittiriya Upanishad or will be learning it when you go to Hampi, where I wish I could go with you, there's a very important closing of chapter 1 of Taittiriya Upanishad, and it's referred to sometimes as the convocation address. I'm not going to chant it in Sanskrit, but it says that having taught the Vedas, which is what you've just been taught, the teacher enjoins or tells to the pupil, speak the truth, satyam vada, and do your duty, adhere to dharmam, never study of the Vedas, and do not cut off the line of your descendants and your family. After giving your teacher the gift that is dear to them, so now you have to figure out what is dear to Shantala, and then you have to give her that gift. Probably she's going to say, just chant properly and teach everyone, but you never know. She might want some jelly bees or some gulab jamun or any treats from my source. So you just have to check with her first what gift is dear, or you figure out what is the gift that is dear to her. Never swerve from the truth. This is very important teachings that they give at the end of the chapter. Never swerve from the truth, and never fail from your duty. Never overlook your own welfare. Never neglect your prosperity or your income. That means your work. And never neglect the study and propagation of the Vedas, which is what you're all doing now. And then it says, never swerve from the duties towards the devas. And then the very famous mantra is Matra Devo Bhava. Let your mother be like a deva to you, a beam of shining light. Pitra Devo Bhava. Let your father be like a deva to you. Acharya Devo Bhava. Let your acharya, your teacher, be like a deva to you. And Atiti Devo Bhava. Let the guests, those who come without invitation, be like a deva to you. And then let only the actions that are free from blemishes be done by you, and not the other actions. And you must only follow those virtuous actions that you see displayed in your teachers, but not the others, because nobody is perfect. And sometimes we, all display actions that are not quite virtuous. Don't worry about those. Worry about the others. When we are in the company of someone more distinguished than us, like me right now in front of Shantala and Prem, we should never even breathe a word. We should just never utter a word, just be silent. And when there's a discussion of spiritual matters, and you must offer a seat to those who are more superior to you and treat them with reverence and love. And then gifts that are given should be given with faith and never without faith. They should be given in plenty, with modesty and with sympathy. And let there also be an agreement of feelings with the person's sympathy as you're giving them those gifts. If there's any doubt in regards to how you should act or uncertainty with respect to the conduct in your life, then look to those who you admire and who are your teachers and imitate what they have done in those situations. Follow those who are thoughtful, who are experienced, who are not influenced or ruled by others, who are not cruel but are gentle and devoted to the Dharma. And so you should conduct yourself in exactly the manner that the wise ones do, who are your teachers or are present in your spiritual life. This is the command. This is the teaching. This is the secret of the Vedas. This is the commandment, and this should be observed. Verily, having understood this fully, one must act in the way that has been taught above. And so this is the concluding part of chapter 1 of Taittiriya Upanishad, the instructions on how the students should behave upon their graduation as they move off into the world, to never neglect study, never neglect teaching, don't swerve from the truth, and follow your dharma, and treat all beings with gentleness and respect. So with that, I congratulate you, and I wish you all the best, and may the goddess Saraswati ever dwell at the tip of your tongues and flow with every mantra that comes forth from your lips. Om Tat Sat.
Eddie, thank you for that most inspiring and beautiful blessing in the end, that may the goddess dwell on our tongues, and may this recitation flow through her. Such a beautiful gift for us. Thank you so much, Eddie. And I know you have to go now, but perhaps you can watch a replay at some other point. We're going to do a whole medley, a Vedic medley now. And you're going to hear all of the 40 teachers do a little bit, some through video, some live, because of time zones, etc. We thought we'd do a bit of a mix and just a little bit of a something fun as well. Eddie, thank you so much for being here. And
thank you, Shantala. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good class after this.
Thank you. Hari Om Tat Sat. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, so we're not going to be introducing the people or the chants, but we're just going to let you enjoy this effort of our 1 year's work. So it's just going to be what I'm calling the Vedic medley. It's just going to be a sound experience for all of you. So sit back and enjoy, and feel free to flood the chat with words of appreciation for all our teachers here. Okay. So sorry. I'm not sure what happened, but we're all back, right? Yeah, I have no idea what happened there, but I'm going to try to do this share screen thing again. I'm so glad I didn't drop off and the whole meeting didn't end. Okay, we're going to try this again. So here we go. Jai Ganesha. Okay, so our medley begins now. Sorry about that.
Shraddhaya nissamidhyate, Shraddhaya vindate havihi, Shraddham bhagasya murdhani, Vachasa vedayamasi, Priyagya shraddhe dadataha, Priyagya shraddhe vidasataha, Priyam bhojeshu yajhasu, Idam ma'uditam kridhi, Yatha deva asureshu, Shraddhamudreshu chakrire, Evam bhojeshu yajvasu, Asmakamuditam kridhi, Shraddhan deva yajamanaha, Vayugopa upasate, Shraddhadum hridayayaku udya, Shraddhaya bhuyate havihi, Shraddham pratarahadamahe, Shraddham madhyantinam pari, Shraddhadum suryasya nimruchi, श्रद्धे श्रद्धापयेहमा श्रद्धा देवानभिवस्ते श्रद्धा विश्वमिदं जगत् श्रद्धां कामस्य मातरम् हविषा वर्धयामसि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
अग्निमीले पुरोहितं यज्ञस्य देवमृत्युजम् होतारं रत्नधातमम् अग्निः पूर्वेभिर्षिभिरीड्यो नूतनैरुता स देवां एह वक्षति अग्निना आरयिमश्नवत्पोषमेव दिवे दिवे यशसं वीरवत्तमम्
Agneya yajnamadvaron vishvatah paribhurasi sa iddeveshu gacchati Agnirhota akavikratus satyaschitra devo deve bhiragamata yadangadashushre tvamagne bhadran karishyasi tavet satyamangiraha.
उपत्वाग्ने दिवे दिवे दोषा आवस्तर्धिया वयं नमो भरन्त एमसे राजन्तमध्वराना अङ्कोपामृतस्य दिदिविं वर्धमानं स्वेदमे स नः पितेव सूनवेग्ने सुपायनो भव स च स्वानस्वस्तये ॐ
मेधा देवी जुषमाना न आगात् विश्वाचे भद्रासु मनस्यमाना
त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेम विदथे सुवीराः
त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतः श्रीरुतत्वया
Tvaya jushtaschitram vindate vasusano jushasvatra vinona medhe
मेधां म इन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती
Medham me ashvina vubhavadhattam pushkarasraja
अप्सरासु चया मेधा कन्तर्वेषु चयन्मनः
दैवीं मेधा सरस्वती समां मेधा सुरभिर्जुषतगस्वाहा
आमां मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगति जगम्या
ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामां मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ताम्
मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि अग्निस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयीन्द्र इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु हरिः ॐ
जातवेदसे सुनवामसो ममराति यतो निदहाति वेदः स नः परुषदति दुर्गाणि विश्वानावेव सिन्धुन्दुरितात्यग्निः तामग्निवर्णान् तपसा ज्वलन्तीं वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टाम् दुर्गान् देवीगुं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये सुतरसि तरसे नमः
अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान् स्वस्तिभिरति दुर्गानि विश्वा भूश्च पृथ्वी बहुलान उर्वी भवातो कायतनयाय शय्योः विश्वानि नो दुर्गः जातवेदः सिन्धुन्ननावादुरितातिपर्षि अग्ने अत्रिवन्मनसा गृणानो ओस्माकं बोध्यविता तनूना आम्
पृतन्नाजितगुं सहमानमुग्रमग्निगुं हुवेम परमात्सदस्तात् स नः पर्षदति दुर्गानि विश्वा क्षामद्देवो अतिदुरितात्यग्निः प्रत्नोषिकमीड्यो अध्वरेषु सनाच्च होतानव्यश्च सत्सि स्वाञ्चा आग्ने तनुवं पिप्रयस्वास्मभ्यं च सौभगमायजस्व
गोभिर्चुष्टमयुचो निषिक्तन्तवेन्द्रविष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम पृष्ठमभिसंवसानो वैष्णवीर्लोक इह मातयन्ताम् कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारि धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गिः प्रचोदयात् ॐ
अहं रुद्रेभिर्वसुभिश्चराम्यहमादित्यैरुत विश्वदेवैः अहं मित्रावरुणो भाभिभर्म्यहमिन्द्राग्नि अहम् अश्विनो भा अहं सोममाहनसं बिभर्म्यहं त्वष्टारमुत पूषणं भगम् अहं दधामि द्रविणं हविष्मते सुप्राव्ये यजमानाय सुन्वते
अहं राष्ट्री सङ्गमनी वसूनाञ्चिकितुषी प्रथमा यज्ञियानां तां मा आदेवा व्यददुः पुरुत्रा भूरिस्थात्रां भूर्या आवेशयन्तीम् मया सो अन्नमत्तियो विपश्यति यः प्राणिति य शृणोत्युक्तम् अमन्तवोमान्त उपक्षियन्ति श्रुधि श्रुतश्रद्धिवन्ते वदामि
अहमेव स्वयमिदं वदामि जुष्टं देवेभिरुतमानुषेभिः यं कामयेतन्तमुग्रं कृणोमि तं ब्रह्मानन्तमृषिन्तं सुमेधाम् अहं रुद्राय धनुरातनोमि ब्रह्मत्विषे शरवे हन्तवा अहं जनाय समदं कृणोम्यहं द्यावा पृथिवी आविवेश
अहं सुवे पितरमस्य मूर्धन्मम योनिरप्स्वा अन्तः समुद्रे ततो वितिष्ठे भुवनानुविश्वोतामून्द्यां वर्ष्मणोपस्पृशामि अहमेव वात इव प्रवां यारभमाणा भुवनानि विश्वा परो दिवा पर एना पृथिव्यै तावती महिना सम्बभूवा ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ लं नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यं ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि
अवत्वं माम् अववक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवधातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चात्तात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोत्तरात्तात् अवदक्षिणात्तात् अवचोर्ध्वात्तात् अवाधरात्तात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात्
त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वमनन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्दद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि
Sophie's not here. I'm going to do Sophie's bit. I don't see her. Does anyone see Sophie? गणादिं पूर्वमुच्चार्य वर्णादिं तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अर्धेन्दुलसितं तारेण रुद्धम् एतत्तव मनुस्वरूपं गकारः पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्चान्त्यरूपम् बिन्दुरुत्तररूपं नादः सन्धानं सगुंहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेशविद्या गणकऋषिः निचृद्गायत्री छन्दः श्रीमहागणपतिर्देवता ॐ गणपतये नमः. I think I messed it up a little bit. This is supposed to be David's bit. David, if you can step in and do 6 and then 8.
Wait, wait, we
Oh,
were
yeah,
on
yes,
5.
Sorry?
We were on 5. Should I do 5?
Yeah, please do though. Please do so. I'll
5,
fix my
5 and
list.
6.
Thank you.
Okay.
You look amazing, by the way.
Sarvam jagaditam tvatto jayate, sarvam jagaditam tvattastishtati, sarvam jagaditam tvailayameshyati, sarvam jagaditam tvai pratyeti, tvam bhumirapo nalo nilo napaha, tvam chatvari va akpadani, tvam gunatrayatitaha, tvam avasthatrayatitaha, त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारे स्थितोऽसि नित्यं त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः त्वां योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं त्वं ब्रह्मा त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वमिन्द्रस्त्वमग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमास्त्वं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्वरो. What's the deal with 7?
David, just do 7 and 8 as well.
Okay. Ganatim purvamucharya varnadintaranantaram anusvarah parataraha arthe endulasitam tarena ritham etattavam anusvarupam gakarah purvarupam akaro madhyamarupam anusvarascha antyarupam pinduruttara-rupam नादसन्धानं सगुंहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेश विद्या कनकऋषिः निछृत्गायत्री छन्दः श्रीमहागणपतिर्देवता ॐ गणपतये नमः एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ती प्रचोदयात्.
Meera. Meera has to do 9, or David will continue doing 9. David is doing the whole of the Ganapati Atharva. Oh, not able to unmute. Hold on. I don't know. What happened? Okay, go for it now.
एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारिणं रदं च वरदं हस्तैर्बिभ्राणं मूषकध्वजं रक्तल्लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणमुच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च सृष्ट्यादौ प्रकृतेः पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनो वरः.
नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्तेस्तु लम्बोदरायैकदन्ताय विघ्नविनाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितैर्यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः
Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ओंकार बिंदु संयुक्तं नित्यं ध्यायन्ति योगिनः कामदं मोक्षदं चैव ओंकाराय नमो नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः
And to close this medley, we have from Australia on video.
Purnamadav Purnamiram Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
I hope you enjoyed not only all of the brilliant recitation and chanting, but also our little mess. We went back and forth a little bit, and David saved the day, of course, as he does. And thank you for that. This was fun. I told you we would not be flawless, and we would be beautifully flawed in our medley. And that was so beautiful. I'm going to ask Karen. She's going to share on behalf of the entire cohort. She's going to share a little bit now. Karen.
Thank you, Shantala. My name is Karen Lynn Carlson. I am a writer. So Shantala ji and my peers have asked me to compose a few words on behalf of the group. I was asked to share what completion of this program means for us. In order to speak for the cohort rather than merely for myself, I've been listening really carefully to what my peers have been saying. A year ago, we were strangers. To say that we were coming from different places is an understatement. It misses the fact that the members of our group were already seriously accomplished individuals. But in such a variety of capacities, we hardly spoke the same language. Indeed, we don't speak the same languages, live in the same time zones, or have the same perspectives on the world. We aren't strangers anymore. We speak the one language of the Veda, this beautiful vision of the human spirit overcoming all conceivable difficulties and aspiring to the highest truth. Our reasons for being here varied, but there were shared themes and sentiments. We were all students prior to being potential teachers, and we all believed chanting had changed our lives. We used the word saved. Chanting saved our lives. Knowledge that saves lives is sacred knowledge. Touched to the quick, a little daunted, but completely convinced, we came together. Experts in our own rights and each in our own way, we gathered to be humble. We were intimidated, but in a good way. Listen and repeat is the pedagogy, and that's what we did. We listened to each other. We listened to the vision laid out in the Veda. We listened to Shantala and the great teachers she put in our path. We listened closer and deeper and over again. It wasn't easy. It was plain and rigorous, and it took a long time. I want us to take a moment together to feel how this program required a rearrangement of our lives. In the course of the last year, many of us faced health issues or moved from one side of the planet to the other. I want us to feel the hours, each one, and multiply it by a community. I want to recognize the support of our families behind every one of those hours. And I want us to remember the people who have died: mothers, fathers, siblings, teachers, and dear friends. All of this has happened. We live in a turbulent world. If you listen, you will change. I can tell you proudly that we are a community of oddballs, a collection of nerds. We crave discipline. We were hungry for correction and thirsty for understanding. We were compelled by something I have to call love. If we had expectations, they were quickly brushed aside. If we had assumptions, they were abandoned. You have to go deep inside your life to practice in this way for this long, at this pace, to these standards. It requires a shared sacredness. By listening deeply, we stumbled upon the divine. By going to the divine, of course, we found ourselves. Which brings me to the best part. I mean Shantala's teaching. Shantalaji is a living modern-day Muni. She is internationally celebrated as a reciter of the Veda. Her accomplishments are stunning, and illustrious people who know so much more than I do consider her a master. We are so lucky, and she is truly in a class of her own. But without taking anything away from that veneration, I think Shantala is one of the most gifted teachers I've ever known. Yes, I am inspired. We are all inspired by her mastery. I am grateful for the support she gives to me and the high standards she puts on me as her student. But here's the thing. I could watch Shantala teach other people all day long. She's just that good. A true teacher is a saint of another order. Without wavering from her dharma, she manages to coax all manner of students a little bit closer to their own fulfillment. It's astonishing. She has a talent for getting people to really listen to themselves, to see clearly, and come to learn. In the process, students start believing in something. The subtle thing is, her students start to come to believe in themselves. To be this intimate with Shantala's teaching has truly been one of the greatest blessings of my life. So we have a perfect explosion. We've gathered today to celebrate and watch the fireworks. This is the culmination of inspiring conditions that are obviously going to ignite. We have the light of the Veda, humanity's oldest songs. It has been tended by a master teacher and passed to a group of remarkable and united students. This collective effervescence is awesome, in the speechless admiration meaning of the word. And this gives me such hope. It should light up our minds. The ignition of the human spark is what the world asks of us. We are so very lucky to attend. This is the beginning of a life work and generations-long assignment. We who have quote unquote completed this program know that we are not done. May we continue to find faith in one another, strength in our practices, and prayer in the breath. Thus we stumble into wisdom and find the world is transformed. Hari Om.
I knew that was going to be beautiful to ask Karen to come and speak for us. What I did not expect is the whole sort of the mastery of my teaching and all of that. I was not expecting that. These days have been full of surprises. And I want to say that this group conspired and yesterday sent someone over, sent Sylviane, who lives, maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours away. So not exactly close by because she had to do a bit of a drive to come here to pick up something very small that she'd left behind a year and a half ago, like a water bottle. And I kept thinking, oh this water bottle must be really special because she's driving a long way to come collect it after a year and a half. And we don't like to be in you know, we're very careful with other people's things. So of course it was sitting in the living room. It was in a very conspicuous place. And so I asked her to come, but she came with a whole basket of goodies. There was big plant that symbolized this whole cohort, beautiful flowers, and the best Belgian chocolate. And I've been living here for 15 years, but I didn't know this particular atelier was so amazing. So I'm just so moved. And I mean, it's not at all something I was expecting. And really, the only thing I'm constantly expecting is correct swaras. Please do correct swaras. That's all I'm praying all day long. That's all I want. But this was really something else. I was so happy to see Sylviane, but see all of you in her and in these little gifts. And I just want to thank you so very much. Thank you, Karen, for that. You know, every time I read something from you or listen to you, there is just, you know, it's like a million little things happening to me when I listen to you. It's absolutely beautiful. I do want to invite someone very special now, Swamini Shraddhananda Saraswati ji. I don't know my good fortune to have people of such vast knowledge in my classes. And so it's always a bit of a, you know, I've had Swami Prem here in this cohort, and previous cohort, Swamini ji joined us as well. And so she's here to congratulate all of you on behalf of the cohort. So Swamini ji.
Hari Om, everyone. Hari Om, and congratulations. Congratulations to each of you, and congratulations to you, Shantala Ma. I met Shantala perhaps 3 years ago through an email. I was not another person who introduced me to her. It was a little advertisement that came up, and it said, you know, learn how to chant Veda. And in my life, I had been chanting for many years, but not with the structure and the discipline that I knew was the next necessary step. So I reached out to this radiant being and said, you don't know me, and I know that you would be taking, you know, some kind of a chance in allowing me to come in to study with you because you don't know who I am. But I would be truly honored to be able to fortify my practice, to bring my knowledge to yet another level. And in that moment, two really amazing things happened. The first is that she said yes. So thank you for that, Shantala. That was just such the most beautiful gift that you could give an individual, is to take them into your tutelage. And then the second is that in that moment, I realized that I had no idea how much I would be learning over the next 3 or so years. And so I did several of the self-study programs, and when the teacher training came, Shantala very graciously allowed me to come into the teacher training. And what I learned in there is really beyond words, as I'm sure each and every one of you know. Yes, correct swara is of the utmost importance, absolutely, 100%. But there was another teaching that Shantala shared that was perhaps even more important, because it leads us to the willingness and the discipline necessary to find the correct swara within our studies. And that is to remember that chanting is a practice of love and devotion. First and foremost, it is love, it is devotion, and it is a higher order love. It is the love that you wish to share, to receive, and to know with that divine source that is responsible for all of us being here, coming together, and coming to know one another. It is that divine source that has brought us to Shantala's beautiful lotus feet and allowed us to spend this amazing time with her. And for her to be so inspired in her life that she would take under her wing 30 plus students in my cohort, 40 in your cohort, that's no small matter. Being previously a university professor, I understand what it is to have 30 or 40 students that you're responsible for listening to all of their recordings, reading their writings, answering their questions, teaching effectively. It is an undertaking of vast proportions. And Shantala does it seamlessly and skillfully, and even when there are small mistakes and hiccups here and there, she recovers so eloquently that she teaches us how to be just by her example. And so for that, I am eternally grateful, and I know that you are too, because our experiences, while different, are still quite similar in that regard. We've all been graced with divine radiance that Shantala has shared with us. Now, not only do we have the benefit of Shantala, but we have the benefit of all of her teachers, of her guru, of the lineage that she comes with, that she presents to us. And in that way, you are now protectors of that wisdom, protectors of the lineage, protectors of Dharma, and protectors of the truth. Shantala gave a talk one time, and I'm certain she said this many times. Somebody sent her a recording of perhaps the Gayatri Mantra done in a little bit of a rock and roll fashion, I think, and asked, "What do you think?" And of course, from the teacher perspective, we all know what Shantala thought. But she's very kind, and so I'm certain that she had wonderfully kind words for the individual. But her words to us were, you might want to minimize the amount that you dilute these teachings, because the moment that they become diluted, they lose something. They lose the intense perfection that they carry with them. And that's what I heard today from all of you. I heard intense perfection, beautiful discipline, compassionate discipline, and the willingness to learn, to study, to learn more, to continue on. In that regard, each and every one of you are like a light on the diya, a light that has been lit, and Shantala is the one who has lit you up. I'd like to share with you a quote from Guru Nanak, who, this comes from a longer writing, but this verse is just so exquisite, I thought it would be perfect for today. In everything there is light. You are that light. Illumined by that light, all things become radiant. The Guru's teachings manifest this light, and that which pleases the Guru is your arti. So your willingness to study, to practice, and to refine, and to continue learning, that is your offering back to Shantala. That and correct swaras. Yes, absolutely. Now, there are 4 very important things that you have learned through this training that I pray in my heart that you will absolutely share with others, in addition to the mantras and the correct swara. Shantala has done an exquisite job in her trainings of bringing forward a greater cultural understanding of Sanatana Dharma, yoga, and all that that entails. And in the world today, it's exquisitely important for this message to come forward with a robusticity and an authenticity that will safeguard it for future generations. The second thing is scholarly knowledge. You are all teachers now, and some of you may be questioning that. You may be saying to yourself, I'm not ready. I don't know if I can do this. There's so much to remember. Your students will be forgiving. They will love what you offer them. And Shantala is here as a resource, and the previous cohort, many of which are here, are there as resources. So do not shy away from learning how to teach and then becoming the teacher that you are meant to be. There is a student somewhere who needs you to inspire them the way that Shantala has inspired you, and to bring their practice to yet the next level. The third thing is cognitive development. And this is something that Shantala touches on through the program, but it's a very important topic, because what the mantra does is transforms you inside and out. It transforms the way you walk through the world, the way you see things. It elevates your patience, your compassion, your empathy, your love, your joy, your inspiration, your devotion, and so many other aspects of yourself. So it's changing your brain and the way that you're thinking as you're chanting these beautiful mantras. So chant them often, practice a lot. And then fourth, spiritual development. Because not only is it changing your brain, but it's also awakening the spirit within you. It's bringing you closer to yourself. And in the words of many of the saints and sages through time, the only way to achieve liberation is through self-knowledge. And these mantras are exactly that. They are self-knowledge. Because as you chant them, you come to meet the truth of yourself and the truth of all other beings. So I am extremely grateful. I pray that you all remember your lessons well. In that regard, the mantra Om Aim Saraswatiye Namaha, Saraswati being the goddess mother of creativity, education, intelligence, and sacred sound. May you remember well. And to Shantala, I say thank you so much, Ma. You are an inspiration to so many. This world would be a little darker without your brilliance. So thank you for bringing that forth. And to all of you, congratulations again on a job very well done and on opening your hearts wide enough and with enough radiance to be here to accept the gift. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shri Matre Namaha, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Swaminiji, thank you so much for that exquisite inspiration. I know you credit me too much for all the good work I do, but I always say that I get the most amazing students. There's very little for me to do. So I just have to steer people that way, this way, Natswaran this way, and everything just works. I feel like I get the most engaged, the most hardworking, and students who are open to listening to what needs to be corrected and fixed, and how to move a little bit closer to the truth, like you were saying. So it's I don't feel like I work very hard in that sense. I get amazing students. And so please bless us that may that continue. May that association continue. I just also want to quickly say that all this would not be possible if my family wasn't allowing me to create this space. I get this undivided time to do these classes and be online. So please, everybody, say thanks to my husband, Edgar, especially. He's here somewhere. So you can say thanks in the chat. And he wants to congratulate everyone as well. And he's watched everybody through this journey as well. And without him, this platform wouldn't exist. And I wouldn't have the time to sit here and do stuff. And so he holds the fort, and he makes sure the kids are looked after and they need, things are happening in the house. And we are able to do this as a team. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen. I do want to now invite Dr. Vinay Chandra Banavati. So he is from Indica, and we are so indebted to Indica for their support. It is through this collaboration with Indica that a program like this can take place. They give us access to so many scholars. Many have come and been guest teachers with us, but I'm going to allow Dr. Vinayji to speak now. Vinayji.
Namaste. Hope I am audible and visible. Sabhaye Namaha, Sabhasabhyo Namaha. At the outset, I'd like to carry the wishes and goodwill of entire Indica team, Indica Yoga, and of course, our founder and mentor, Sri Harikiran Vadlamaniji. He couldn't join us today, but he has sent his love as well as greetings and congratulations to each one of you who are completing your formal engagement or formal course with Shantala ji. I definitely know this is an engagement that will continue for long. There's so much to learn. There's so much to transmit. So it's a lifelong engagement, but as a formal course, it started off this January and it's concluding now. And all of us know how arduous it would have been given your engagements and the demands of Shantalaji. So I definitely vouch for everything that Karin and Swami Shraddhananda Saraswati ji just said. There's no exaggeration. She's completely uncompromising when it comes to the quality. As everyone said, swara, keep your swaras right. And the uchara, the pronunciation, the alpa prana, mahaprana, the exertion of force that is required. This is the most important thing in the chanting of the Veda. The Upanishad itself specifies that how each one of these elements are so important to get the full effect and meaning of any chanting that is there. So, true to the tradition, true to the parampara that Shantalaji comes from, I think that is her demand from her students and completely uncompromising on any front. So, it's a great opportunity. We have a statement in Sanskrit which says, Satam sadbhis sangaha kathamapi punyena bhavati. If you happen to have the company, guidance, mentoring of good people, that's definitely because of the punya, the merit that one would have accumulated by one's own good deeds, whether in this life or in the previous lives. So you have definitely encashed a lot of punya, having got a teacher like Shantala ji. And with this, you have become part of the tradition, the links of this tradition, the tradition which dates back to quite a long time, from time immemorial. The Veda mantras have been preserved with such authenticity, with such felicity, that the tradition has put in a lot of efforts, invested itself. Each guru has contributed to the upkeep of this tradition in such a manner where there is little omission, little commission, limited, little distortion. So that's been the contribution of every teacher. I mean, just imagine being able to chant something exactly the way that is being chanted for thousands of years. Right? It's not a simple, easy thing. We know how words, statements get distorted in a matter of few minutes. And given that, how much the tradition has invested itself to keep this with minimal or absolutely no distortion, it's itself a magnificent thing. And each one of us now who have been the students of this tradition carry this responsibility. We may be teachers or we may not at this moment itself. Yet there is a tremendous responsibility on each one of us to ensure that we become that right, respectful links in the continuity of this tradition. So I don't think there would be a better teacher than Shantala ji. And to manage such a large cohort, I completely again stand with Swamini ji when she said 40 is not a small number. For any teacher, it might be different, but for Shantala ji, I know, because she invests time, she invests her energy in ensuring each one gets it right. So that means so many recordings, so many listenings, so many engagements with each one of them personally. Though the class might be a group class, but investment that goes for each and every one. I think that's a mark of a true teacher, and that's where Shantala ji is. So I once again congratulate all of you for having got this teacher and also having taken this journey. Getting certificate as a teacher is one thing, but walking that path for 11 months, 9 months is a good enough time for something to be created. A new life gets created. And now there's also such a transformative journey where there is a new birth. You entered this cohort as individuals. Probably you were teachers in your own fields, but now you have taken new birth as the teachers of the Vedic tradition. So that comes with a lot of responsibility. And I know you have been well prepared to handle this responsibility well. So I congratulate you, all of you, for having undertaken this journey, stood with it. For any transformation to take place, there's a lot of tapas that is involved. The word tapas in Sanskrit means heat. So it generates heat for you, It generates heat for people around you, and there could be a lot of friction. There could be a lot of uneasiness that you'd have to go through, a lot of inconvenience that I'm sure you'd have gone through. Despite all these things, when a fruit ripens, the sweetness just gets manifested. So that's where you stand at this threshold. And may you continue to share this fruits of the tradition, having undertaken the journey personally. Now you are in a position to share it with others. Let many benefit from the hard work that you have taken, from the tapas that you have all undergone through to bring in this transformation. And when Kareen said, we were all speaking different languages, but we spoke in one voice, I was reminded of the beautiful mantra from the Rig Veda, which says, Sangachatvam, Samvadadvam, Samvadadvam. Let's all speak in one voice. Samvo manamsi janatam. Let your minds be in agreement. Devo bhagam yatha purve sanjanana upasate. Just as the ancient gods shared their portion of sacrifice. Samano mantra samitis samani. Samanam mana sahachittamesham. May our purpose be the same. May we all be of one mind. Samanam mantram abhimantra evaha. See the Samanam mantram. We'll chant the mantras in order to arrive at such a unity. We'll all come together to offer this one prayer together. Samaniva akutihi. May our intentions and aspirations be allied. Samana hridayani vaha. Let our hearts come together. Samanamastu vo manaha yatha vassaha suhasati. Samanamastu vo manaha. Let our minds be together. They align together. They come together in harmony for the greater good. So this has been the prayer of the Vedic tradition. And this cohort once again proves that this kind of a walk, this kind of coming together for a larger cause is possible. And this is a sort of a yajna that all of you have participated. And as the partakers of this yajna, as the partakers of this divine travel, there is a long way to go from here. And each one of you can take it to next set of students. I think that's how you snowball and ensure this tradition is not only alive, but this tradition is thriving. And the people of this age, people of this space and time get to enjoy the benefits of this tradition. So may you all be that important links in the history of humanity. And there's so much to do for all of us. So I once again wish you all personally and on behalf of Indica and on behalf of Indica Yoga, may God give you more power, more force to continue this work. And definitely Shantala ji to inspire more and more such cohorts on this journey. So best wishes to everyone. Namaste.
Vinayji, with Indica's continued support, I hope to do a few more of these, but as long as there is energy and as long as I have the Guru's grace and your partnership, we will see how far we can go with this. I do want to say that, the ability to handle a cohort of 40, etc. These are all skills that I learned directly from my Guru. And I see, when I'm shadowing him, I spent many years following him around. He handles classes of students, 80 up to 80 to 90 students in a cohort. And so, and that is for me, like the mastery that I've seen and how his ears work and how he's able to hear everybody, even though they're in a group, he hears people individually, has been a huge inspiration for me. And so there is nothing that I do that has just come to me. Everything has come to me from my Guru. And so for that, I'm so grateful. But I have this ecosystem that makes it work. So I have folks like you, Indica, that support and give me access to scholars and give me access to teachings. And I must also say that we are very grateful for the scholarship support that you have offered this cohort. We are absolutely indebted. Many people would not be able to do this program if not for Indica's collaboration with, substantial collaboration in providing the scholarships that people enjoyed to be on this course. And so there's a whole ecosystem that makes all this work, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm also grateful that you chose to speak about Sangachadvam, and you explained the whole mantra, because I would like to end today's the Vedic medley and all this talk with exactly this, Vinayji. So we're so aligned with this. And to do that, what I was wanting to do is to bring up, if all of you loved what Vinayji explained about these Rigveda mantras, about people coming together, hearts being united, minds being one, is you can get our book, Nitya Dhyana. And the 22nd chant in this book is the Samvada Suktam, which is exactly what Vinayji was speaking about, which is really a prayer for community, teams, for groups of people, or like my cohort here, and the larger Veda studies community for all of us. This is really a prayer for us as a community to work together towards a common goal, to work with united hearts as if with one mind for a common goal. And our common goal is to live a prayerful life and to do noble work and to always do the right thing within the framework of dharma, so that our hearts may be united with one mind and we are fostering close companionship. And I saw this, I witnessed this with this cohort. They have become such good friends. And I know that they have their own little practice groups and study groups, and they have their own little other chat groups. And I know that it's really, really lively, and that they're also meeting in person. And I see Ivy and Mridul here together, and I see different people together at different times. And so this is for all of us. It's a prayer for community, as explained by Vinayji. Om Samsamidhyuvase vrishannagne vishwan yarya ilaspade samidhyase sanovasunya bhara Sangachadhvam samvadadhvam sambomanaam sijanatam Deva bhagayatha purve sanjanana upasate Samano mantra samitis samani samanam manassaha chittame esham Samanam mantram abhimantrayeva samanena vohavisha ajuhomi Samani va akutis samana hridayani vaha Samanamastu vo mano yatha vassu sahasati Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Thank you, everybody, for joining and making this so special. And I want to also thank Prem for opening with me and co-hosting and welcoming Eddie in this most beautiful way. Thank you, Prem. And David, did you want to say something quickly? I thought you were asking to. Okay, no. But if anyone else wants to say a little something, just do a little Zoom show of hand and I'll let you do that. But I want to thank everybody. And thanks to this cohort for all the little videos that were made and so much work, and for dressing in orange and white, and for using the Veda Studies logo in the backdrop, and for showing up in such a beautiful way. And again, David, you look amazing. And Swaminiji, thank you so much for blessing us. Just your presence with us is so encouraging and so full of light. Thank you for that. Vinayji, thank you so much for always inspiring us. And Prem, thank you also for inspiring us and for being the humble student, the teacher, being the humble student. You were such a role model. Everything that you did and went through was so remarkable. and really set, I truly believe it was your presence that has made this cohort so, I don't know, full of love, so full of light, and receptive to a particular way of being. And I think your presence has changed everybody. So I know we're all just sort of passing the credit on to each other, but it was collective work, of course. So thanks, and thanks especially to my graduating students for putting up with me, for tolerating my swara policing, for being very kind to me when I, wasn't perfect in the things that I did, and for bringing things to me in the most gentle way and letting me know when I hadn't done something correctly, and for staying on, and for doing this work, and for being as strong as you are, despite all the things that you've been going through. Karen told us briefly, but I know we've been through a really intense year of loss, of joy. So many things happen with our health, moving, all kinds of things. And yet we are here graduating, and this has been the most amazing journey. So on this bittersweet note, sweet that everybody graduated, but a little bit of sadness that we don't have this Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays rigor anymore, but we will meet in continuing education as we do. Thank you so very much, everybody. And yes, there will be a replay sent to folks. If you want to come back and watch it a little bit, there will be a replay, and we'll see where else to make this replay available so that it can continue to inspire everybody. And there is a request, Karen, to turn what you spoke into a blog. We would love that. And we'll see about trying to get what Eddie said as well into a little blog. But you can also go and read the Taittiriya Upanishad for what he said. So there's that. Thank you so very much, everybody. So grateful. Ram Ram. And congratulations. Bye, everybody.